This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with our prize guy. We're here at Mossley Mill, delighted to be joined by the victorious binman Cathal Jennings. I know, me and you've done plenty of interviews now, and I know probably the way you're going to go here, and I don't want you to be critical of yourself.
Yeah.
I'd said to you off camera, you're in the learning stage, your first six-rounder. You need things to work on. If this pro game was easy, everybody would be doing it. But I guess, like you're always a perfectionist, you always want to do better. But a good six-round fight tonight.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to beat myself up here. Definitely not. I was in a hard fight there. That man surprised me big time, you know. Not taking nothing away from a good fighter there. A good step up, you know. I thought I was going to be able to outpower him handily. He was a lot. He surprised me inside there, Morty. But look, a good six-rounder there. A good hard six-rounder, like, you know what I mean. I really had to bite down the gum shield there. He was hitting me up round the side of the head, catching me on the way in. I felt a wee bit flat in there. I can think I dislocated my thumb in the second round, but that's a load of shite anyways. It doesn't matter, you know, you're in there, you're fighting. You know, I give myself a fucking C-, you know. I wasn't 100% there. I've had the base camp. I've had an unbelievable camp, you know. Base sparring, I just didn't get going to what I want to do. But that's all down to the opponent too, you know. He was a good operator there, and look, I'm glad I got the win there, definitely.
I was going to say, sorry, I'll take the microphone back off you again before you start singing, but like Matthew King's been in with Kieran Malloy, I know obviously the talent that Kieran Malloy is. Yeah. For you to have an opponent like Matthew King in your third fight shows the ambitions you have. Like, you got to take an easier opponent for your first six-rounder, but where do you learn from that? Yeah. You learn with tough opponents like Matthew King, and probably in fights to come, you'll probably look at it and you'll go, I learned a lot from the Matthew King fight, which sets you up for moving to the next level.
Yeah, definitely. Going to learn a lot from that, you know. Him with a good operator, been in there, like, he drew with a boy there, I think it was 12-1 or 11-1 there not too long ago. So, like, he's been in there with experienced boys, as you say, Kieran Malloy and that. But look, I'm glad to get the win. There's so much I can do better in there, like cutting off the ring and all. I was following him in there. I felt like I could have cut off the ring out a lot better. But like, I showed the game of toughness, you know, which isn't a good thing all the times, you know. Took a few too many shots there, turned it into a bit of dogfight, as you can see. I need to get the woman's makeup here for after. But look, a good six-rounder. I'm glad they got it in. And, you know, it'll stand by me that, you know, he's well experienced over the 6 rounds. I was getting it tight there, I'll not lie, you know. And my fitness is flying, so just about pacing myself a lot more. I was going a wee bit gung-ho there. I'm going gung-ho right here, right now in this interview, but look, I calmed her down a wee bit. Yeah, I felt good, but I can always do better, you know.
That's your first six-rounder, not the lightest. I think you've been as well as a pro. Like, you've obviously said to me that your ambitions is to get down to super lightweight at 140. So, like, how does it feel in camp now? Like, you're not going to be happy until you have a fully fledged six-pack coming into weigh-in day. Like, how are you feeling? Obviously, with the lower weight, obviously you're bringing it down gradually. Like, as you said, it's your best camp you've had. Yeah. You have a lot of positive take from that. Like, a next fight, then another couple of pound down, probably another six-rounder again.
Yeah, definitely another six-rounder. That'll stand by me. That was a high-paced 6 rounds there, you know. And he's a real experienced pro there. See, even in that inside stuff, he was standing all over my good white boots. Look at them there, by the rack. But like, just wee small things in there that you don't get in the amateurs. That inside work, like, he really surprised me on the inside. But stuff that I can learn and take from that there. But yeah, another 6-rounder, and yeah, just push on, stay in the gym. Like, a lot to learn. I could have listened to Dan a lot more in the corner there, you know. I got caught a few times there and I was just going in there like a raging bull, you know. I could have sat back a wee bit and tried to draw him on to me a wee bit more, but look, it's all a learning experience.
It's a learning experience probably still under Dan as well, obviously, and I know you've been with him for quite a bit of time now, but it's still that learning the fighter coach thing, which takes time. To see him as his pro career, it takes a bit of time to blossom, and probably understand that even though you know he's got the best intentions for you, you might see things a bit different and go, I want to throw that shot instead. So it's building that trust up as well.
Yeah. No, you know, I definitely could have listened a lot more. When you're in there at the end of the day, you are in there by yourself, but they can see a lot more out there. Yeah, just building that trust and building. But me and Dan's got a good relationship, you know. I just felt like I was getting in my own head a wee bit there too much, trying to get it back. Maybe let the crowd get to me in there. It was a serious atmosphere in there. It was like a cauldron in there. But, you know, I was maybe just thinking, you know, I'm the smaller fighter, I'm the inside fighter, you know. I felt like when he was catching me in the inside, I was like, I should be doing this, you know, and trying to get him back, whereas I should have been resetting and going again, you know. But look, as I said, I learned experience there, Morty, you know, this will stand by me, you know what I mean? There's nothing better than a good 6-rounder like that for experience, you know, so.
Christmas coming up now, obviously I know you're not going to be eating too much turkey and eating too many selection boxes, but like,
I don't know
is the plan for you now to keep chipping away sort of over Christmas and work towards a fight date at the start of the year?
Yeah, I'm looking at February here. Mark said something about Valentine's Day there. As I said, I don't think my woman's going to be too happy about that, but if we can get out there in February, that would be great. You know, I can enjoy a wee bit of time over Christmas this whole year. Like, I only turned pro at the start of the year. You know, I've came down. I was 90 kilo last year, you know. I've came from a completely different lifestyle into this year, and now I'm 3-0, so I'm happy with myself. Like, I need to stop beating myself up, you know. I've had a hard 6-rounder there against a good lad, and yeah, we're just going to push on from here, you know. Learn from that, you know, learn on that defence, you know, and it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, you know. These rounds you need to pace yourself and not just think fight, you know, so. And
you've now experienced your first Sunday show as well, obviously in a different venue as well. Like, has that changed much for you in a camp, knowing that it's not a Friday or winner, it's not a Saturday, well obviously a Saturday weigh-in, but fighting on a Sunday, did it feel strange fighting on a Sunday?
I felt a wee bit strange. I kept thinking that it was like Friday yesterday. You know, I was like, fuck me, it's Saturday today, like, and then I was just getting, but no, nothing really changed. Like, as an amateur, you're fighting any day of the week, so I'm well used to it, but it was good to get on early there, and at least I can go now and see the people that come down to support me and all, and, you know, actually get out and see them and all, because usually I'm staying over in Belfast and stuff, so it'll be good to get back down the road and get chatting to the people that all come down, you know, the supporters, because without them, like, you wouldn't be able to do any of this.
I was going to just finally touch there, obviously that support means the world to you, obviously the fan base is growing, they know that you're good humour, inside and outside of the ring, and you're a very likeable fighter, so it's only right that fan base is going to keep growing for you.
Yeah, that's it, you know, they're all legends, you know, I'm always getting a good crowd coming down, you could hear them in there. You know, that really spurred me on there. See that 5th and 6th round when I was getting tight and they were shouting for me? It was really carrying me through there. Like, you know, I was getting her tight. So, look, shout out to them. And also shout out to all my sponsors, you know. Without them, every boxer knows the financial burden of doing pro boxing. So, without all these sponsors, you know, shout out to them because you're letting me follow my dreams here. And this is a dream here, Morty, you know, being able to fight on live stream, get on people's tallies, get on... so people can watch me at home and all, like, you know, I couldn't imagine this a year ago, so I'm really grateful. Anyone that tuned in, anyone that came down, anyone that bought a ticket, you know what I mean? Anyone that's supporting, you know, legends.
Well, congratulations, obviously on moving to 3-0. Enjoy your Christmas, and we'll catch up again in 2026.
Gentlemen, thank you, Murray. You up the way.
Cheers, Cathal.